Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to focus a little bit on legs. We're going to do 4 unilateral, i.e. one-sided leg exercises. We're going to start on the front side of the legs. Just make sure you're warmed up well so that you know where your knee and hips are at for the day. We're going to start with a step up. We're going to use the band. Again, whatever height works for you. It doesn't have to be that high with the band. There's a lot of focus at that upper part of the step up, right? So you can really work on getting that stability around the knee joint and that squeeze up, right? So I'm going to double up a band, but you could just as easily use any band, right? You want a little tension at the bottom, but not too much because you want to be able to stand all the way up tall. All right, so you're going to plant the foot, heel grounded. And then as you squeeze up, kneecap's going to pull up, back of the leg gets long, glute tucks under, maybe not tucks, squeezes under so that the hip, the glute is right underneath that hip, shoulders back and then down with control. You want to keep most of the tension in that front leg. So try not to push off too much with that back leg. And as usual, keep that knee slightly out over those second, first toes, second, third toes, and the foot that's up, very gently external rotate or down. Again, if this is way too easy with whatever band you got, right, add a weight and you'll be holding an end of a band and a weight. In each hand, that's totally fine too. If you need a little bit more intensity and your knees are totally healthy, right? If your knees aren't and you're just working through this movement, keep the step low and really think about getting that stabilization at the top and as much control as possible on the way down and really focusing on that leg that's up as you come up. Again, keeping the heel down on that foot. Going 8, 10, 12, however many feels right for you on each side. All right, second exercise we're going to do is a variation on a reverse lunge. I'm going to use the slider, but you could step back at 45 degrees. I'm going to use the slider so I can add a little extra movement. For my first set, I'm not going to use any weight, but I would probably add either a goblet style weight or 2 weights at my side for the following sets, but you can definitely make no weight work. We're going to come out to about 45 degrees, slide into the middle, squeeze up. Obviously, if you're not using something that helps you slide on the floor, towel, whatever, then you're going to want to just step out to 45 degrees and then pull up and in. But doing it this way with kind of 2 parts of the move really makes you think about that stabilization in that front leg. Also forces you to stay pretty light on that back leg. Again, watching the angle of that front knee. So okay if the knee's over, as long as the knee's slightly out and you have healthy knees. Cat wrestling going on in the background. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. All right. Next exercise, we're going to do a single leg glute bridge. I'm just going to do it off a step. You can totally do this off a wall, off a couch, wherever you're doing it off of. I'm going to do it off this step, off a solid object, because I'm going to add some resistance to it in the form of a band. So again, sometimes it takes a little creativity with how to get the band how and where you want it. You want to be about 90 degrees or so, right? Obviously, the angle that you're at will change what part of the hamstring glute gets activated. So play with the one that makes it work where you're most challenged. So grounding the backs and shoulders, right? This is going to stay connected. I put the band kind of over where that hip crease is. I'm going to pick up one foot, squeeze to the top. I get a little tension on the band at the top. This helps me feel connected. And if I look and the band is parallel or straight across, right, then I know I'm lifting my hips evenly. So I'm getting a pretty deep hamstring activation because I'm at slightly greater than 90 degrees, right? The more 90 degrees you are, the more glute you'll get, right? The further out you are, the more hamstring you'll get. It's the same thing on the second side. Again, trying to keep those hips lifted evenly. If it helps you to squeeze a block, right? So you get the focus on keeping the hips even, go for it. The block also takes those adductors, those muscles to squeeze the legs in out of the picture so that they really are working on the glutes and the hamstrings, right? Sometimes those adductors take over, and so we may not always feel our hamstrings as much as you want to. All right, so that's the first one for the posterior chain. The second one we're going to do just a regular single leg deadlift. No extra stuff today, no bands or anything, just a weight. Again, you can totally do this without weight. So you want to think about trying to keep your, I'm going to do this contralaterally because I like that focus on working in the outside of the hip today. So I'm going to hinge forward. I'm going to try and keep my shoulders and my back as flat as possible, and then squeeze back up. It's almost like you're letting the inside edge of that dumbbell sort of follow the line of that leg. And other leg just lifts gently back behind. If you're having like excessive trouble with the balance component, you could totally put that back foot and just sort of support it on something and do that single leg hinge. But you want to be feeling this. If you're keeping the leg mostly straight, that standing leg mostly straight, slight bend, sort of RDL style, Romanian deadlift style, you should be feeling this kind of high up. Again, some of that depends on the way you have tight hamstrings, if you have tight hamstrings, and or any history of hamstring injury. All right, so same thing on the second side. You're going to keep that foot grounded, and even though we don't have 2 feet on the ground, you want to think about that foot kind of pushing out and to the side to really stabilize that hip. Same thing on the second side, right? Try to keep the shoulders flat-ish. Again, if you're struggling like really excessively with too much rotation, maybe you start with the back foot up on something. Again, just like with any hip hinge, you want to think about hinging from the waist, not rounding the back, certainly not rounding the lower back. And try and find that connection slightly high up into the outside. All right, good luck. 4 leg exercises, all single leg. So they'll add up. We'll go in back to back, front side of the body, back side of the body. So you should feel a pretty good connection by the time you're done. Have a great day, everybody.